The New England Patriots just made a major move as an insider reveals some massive Patriots updates on a new signing, a placement of a player on IR, as we've got reports from Diana Rossini, PFF, and Mike Reese all right here on Patriots Digest. Welcome in, everybody. I'm Jace Andrews. I appreciate you joining us here on the show. Make sure you hit that subscribe button for Patriots news throughout the entirety of the 2025 NFL season. So today's update comes on Will Campbell. Now, we know that he was injured most recently with the Patriots in Cincinnati when they took on the Cincinnati Bengals. However, the hope was that he did not sustain a substantial injury, which technically was confirmed, as we know that it was not season-ending. However, we started to get reports like this one from Ian Rappaport as he was discussing Will Campbell on Good Morning Football and said that it is a MCL sprain, that there was an MRI on his knee, and that source has said that he is a candidate for injured reserve, and the hope is he can return when it counts. Well, today they made that official as Mike Reese comes out and says starting left tackle Will Campbell will be placed on injured reserve today, according to Mike Vrable. In a corresponding move, the team is signing cornerback Miles Battle to the 53-man roster from the practice squad. Battle has already played one game this season with the Patriots. We'll explain that later on in today's video. But for Will Campbell, it is a major loss for the Patriots and this offensive line. Now, when you talk about Will Campbell and you talk about the effect he has had, you first have to start with PFF and what they have to say on him, because that really dives into linemen. You can't get the full story from the stats or the pressures on. PFF is the big one. He has a 71.3 overall grade, ranking him 29th out of 80 tackles in just his rookie season. And he's definitely in a better spot with the run blocking. He has a 65.7 grade there. Meanwhile, it was better with the pass blocking, with a 76.1 grade there, which is 19th out of 80 tackles. He's 42nd out of 80 tackles in run blocking grade, which still almost or right at average there with the run blocking grade. He's been fantastic. He's done exactly what he said since he was drafted, said he was going to fight and die to protect Drake Maye. Guess what? He has done exactly that. He had a tough week one against the Las Vegas Raiders. He had a tough week against Myles Garrett and the Browns, but who doesn't have a tough week against Myles Garrett at this point? But besides that, he has been absolutely fantastic and a big piece of why this team is so successful. In fact, in terms of the PFF ranking, which is what we kind of judge these offensive linemen by, he was a part of the top 15 NFL rookies through week 12, according to PFF. He was ranked number 10 in that account with the 75.5 PFF grade. He's been fantastic. He's protected Drake Maye like he said he was. And now for the next at least 4 weeks, he's not going to be out there, which really shakes up, first of all, this offensive line. And secondly, it can kind of shake up the way the Patriots handle protecting Drake Maye and the offense as a whole. Now, I do want to continue and talk about the goodness or the greatness of Will Campbell. Lauren Gray, on that PFF article about the top 15 rookies, said this: the top 5 pick ranks in the top 15 among starting left tackles in both blocking facets. His 5.9% pressure rate allowed is 9th best and has led to a 76 PFF pass blocking grade, end quote. He's just been fantastic. There's little to put about why it's been so good of a season for him. And obviously, this is a huge thing, but in the grand scheme of things, you're thinking about the offensive line. You trust the depth you have there. We've had some injuries across the line, but the big concern in this aspect was it wasn't just Will Campbell. Jared Wilson also went down in the Cincinnati game, in fact, earlier than Will Campbell. Luckily, we have a positive update on him from Diana Rossini of The Athletic. She says, quote, New England Patriots rookie left tackle Will Campbell is expected to miss at least 4 weeks with a knee injury and will most likely land on injured reserve. But rookie left guard Jared Wilson, who also had that ankle injury, has received better news and could be back much sooner. Wilson has also been very good. I know it's not to the extent of Will Campbell, but still, again, with the price that you got him in the draft, a 49.8 grade, 58.9 on the pass blocking with 52nd out of 81 tackles. Pretty good. I think in a lot of ways you talk about PFF and how important that is in this rate. I think you also have to look at the eye test for Jared Wilson, and he's been a very good piece and protected Drake Maye for as long as he needs to. So with all these moves going down, with kind of the adjustment of the offensive line, what was kind of the decision-making process when the Patriots decided, we're not going to sign an offensive lineman. They trust the depth they have. I mean, 2 injuries, and the potential is there for Jared Wilson to not play this upcoming Monday. But at the same time, they decided to sign a quarterback. And part of that is because a recent injury to Alex Austin, who also got put on injured reserve. There's a couple other reasons for that. But either way, when you kind of look at the grand scheme of things here with Miles Battle, it's more about why... It's more about him and being the right choice for this team, I think, is really the big reason. And so, speaking of Battle, you kind of remember the name because, well, they got him last year. He started off his NFL career with the actually Kansas City Chiefs, funny enough, as we'll go to the kind of the report here. But he started out his rookie year with the Chiefs as a UDFA out of Utah. He was released after training camp. The Patriots signed him in October last year to their practice squad, and then he signed to the 53-man roster in January, and he played his first NFL game in the season finale last year versus the Buffalo Bills. 25-year-old finished with 2 tackles and 3 passes defended in last year's game. Now, in terms of this year, been a little less of a showing. Mike debated Patriots SI saying, quote, despite a strong showing throughout Patriots offseason workouts, Battle was released by New England at the end of training camp this past summer and was then signed to the practice squad. Battle was elevated to the active roster for the Patriots' Week 7 matchup against the Tennessee Titans on October 19th and saw action on special teams. Now, for Miles Battle, do we expect him to come in and do a ton of different things? No, probably not. I think in a lot of ways you really don't see that from him. But at the same time, given the expectation was there or the thought was there that he's going to be the one they bring up, not looking at the offensive line, saying they like the depth there, I wouldn't be shocked to see him come in. I know the cornerback room, it's really been a bit top-heavy, I think, in a lot of ways. I think at the beginning of the season there was so much talk for the Patriots that, oh, the depth is not there or this. And I don't think that's true across most positions. However, with the cornerback, it's been pretty, cut and dry. It's Davis, it's Jones, it's Gonzalez, and past that, it can get a little rough. And so I think that might be a big reason. Also, there's been injuries to that cornerback room, and ultimately this was the move to make. As for Will Campbell, he'll miss the next 4 games. This upcoming game, really not too worried against the Giants. Past that, though, you've got the Bills, which is a tough game. Tough game after that against, I believe, the Ravens. So, honestly, if they can get by this week, you can figure out that offense in terms of, making this in the right spot. After your bye week, you'll face off against the Bills, and potential is there for him to return Week 17 and then get that one kind of quote-unquote practice game before he heads into the postseason, in which his rookie year making the postseason feels pretty good. Obviously, Drake Maye's doing his thing, but the offensive line is a huge, huge part of this, so I'm curious how it goes. Luckily for, in some ways, the Patriots, they're going to play a Giants team who is in a very bad spot, and Kayvon Thibodeau is there, so you can have kind of some test of what the actual expectation is for everything, but that is the move from today. Obviously, great news from Diana Rossini talking about Jared Wilson. Maybe he could play this weekend. I think the odds are that he'll probably miss this week, or rather, this Monday, and then we'll probably make it up after the bye week. But very, very excited for the upcoming game, upcoming weeks. And make sure you hit that subscribe button. Stick around. We'll keep you all updated with Will Campbell news and anything that surrounds that. So without further ado, we really do appreciate you watching, and we'll see you next time here on Patriots Digest, everybody. Peace out.